As I told earlier, like urban is full of complexity, right? So since and it's too diverse also, so we can't learn from a simple, like if I'm a student from economics background kind of thing, so we can't learn urban through an economic lens only. Like we need to learn from different lens. So in my class, of course, we had like a lot of students from different disciplines, like architecture, doctor, lawyer, kind of fields, and all sociologist, economist, blah blah blah. So yeah, no, to get knowledge from them, like sharing the knowledge, like we are working together. So the perspective that I have on a certain point will be not the perspective that the other person will be having. So getting to know from the other perspective to I mean to learn from each other, it is a kind of an awesome experience that we had in UFP. Right from my UG onwards, I come from interdisciplinary academic background. So my UG, I had an economics, politics, and sociology, and master's development studies. That too interdisciplinary course. But I was so confused after doing all this course, where to lead, how to lead, like kind of thing. I was knowing, like I was having a broad a perspective of each and everything, but I don't know, like if you ask me something, like I could answer only through a broad perspective. Like I can't like answer in a kind of narrow perspective, narrow it down and kind of thing. But after joining to UFP, like I I can, if somebody asks about something regarding the urban life or something like that, I could answer, like point out and say use certain terms, like certain vocabularies. So this interdisciplinarity is kind of giving me an opportunity to say more into in-depth knowledge of certain things, to see certain things in a narrow down perspective. It's quite intense, but what I will say, we are learning a lot per day. It is like gaining a lot of knowledge per day. Like we will be so engaged. Um like yeah, but we do need some time to reflect ourselves. I think, like I would recommend, like if the span of like 9 months got increased to like 12 months or something, we'll be having a time to reflect by ourselves, and to what and all we learned in class, like we could reflect, like by speaking to our peers, like we could reflect it. And I mean that will lead us to a kind of nurturing ourselves into a better individual, I think. Back at UFP, for this, even for practica, even for a project, this all are done in a group work. So for practica, we were like in a 7 group member, so we could learn from these 7 people. That was so interesting. 7 perspectives, 7 different ideas. When we go to the field also, the perspective that I was having on certain thing won't be the perspective of the other guys. Like we used to share a lot of things, and later used to have debates. We used to have discussion, healthy discussions, debates, and we used to come to a certain point, and later when it come to presentation, we were so enthusiastic and thrilled to present like what the final product that we got from the field. And the skills that got from here is to work in a group culture kind of things. And from skill lab, like I was so weak in data and to analyze data kind of things. And so the data class, I mean the making sense of data, how if we are doing a research or something, like from where to get the data. It's been taught from here, like it's all those this skill set will be we will be getting only when we are working on something. But this is here it is being taught to us, like how to do this kind of things. And given, and they it's not only just teaching, but they make us to do things, so that like our skills are getting there. But skill labs kind of things are like a short span time, but then also we got introductory structure to all those things and all what's happening. The field based component is the best thing in the UFP. Like we had a lot of fun. We learned a lot from the field based, either it be exposure visit, practica, integrative case week. We have what and all we it's what and all we taught in class. it's been like applied on the field. Like we were introduced to different places, like in city only. We have taken to Mumbai, and also like before I was viewing through a different lens as like city and all, but after going through this common stay, I started to view city in a different perspective. Like for my project itself, I went back to Kerala. I am so familiar with Kerala. I know each and every places, but I started to view Kerala in a different perspective. That was kind of an amazing thing that happened to me. I could see like lot of things were happening. Like I fell in love with this my own state again and again. Like all those things are happening. How the interconnectivity between the people, like how different systems are working, how decentralization structure, kind of things. Like all this new vocabularies. Like I have been looking through that way. Yeah, that is kind of a big thing that happened to me. Like and the field visit, like it's an amazing thing that happens at UFP. And even for our exposure visit, like we had a lot of fun. More than fun, we learned a lot how complex the city is, how both sanitation, the waste, the slum, many things that we could, what and all we taught in class, we could see it in the field, and we could practically we could absorb the teaching things via practical lens. The life at IIHS is the happening place. Like it's most happening place. Like full time we are engaged into something or something else, and we all the fellows are all time together only. Like there's some people might go and come back, but then also most of the peers are together. We always I mean, if somebody goes to something bad emotions or something like that, we all were together to help them out, nurture them or something like that. And it's so good in IHS. Like most of the people stays good together, walks together, travel together. Even our commutation to back and forth to IHS and to Stanza, it's in a single bus. So yeah, the life and what we'll say, and having lunch, having dinner, everything is together. So we are not we most of the time peers are not away from each other. Like it's like a kind of togetherness happening here that increases our bond, kind of things. Yeah. Now I realize that it's going to end. Yeah, it's kind of emotional, but then also it's like we had learned a lot, uh, uh, had a lot of good friends. We had a lot of emotional breakouts. We stood for each other. It's like it's quite nice, and it's a great experience. And if those who are confused at any part of your life, I would recommend IHS. The UFP program is the right opportunity, right place to you to come to nurture yourself and to fly high. Yep.